Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Unorthodox Vegan. Today, episode 26, we're going to be making a vegan salmon steak. You heard me right, vegan salmon steak with a little bit of a lemon dill sauce. Okay, in order to make that, I've got all the ingredients ready. I have tofu, extra firm tofu. Please use extra firm tofu. I tried using just regular firm tofu, which I had already in the freezer, just took it out, thawed it, pressed it, and then did the work on it, and it was just not quite the right texture. Extra firm though is much better. So extra firm tofu. I've cut it up into 4 steak-sized pieces, salmon steak-sized pieces. You'll be using that, and we'll be marinating that, and that's what the next major components are, which is a small beet, red beet. And you need that small one because you don't want to overpower with too much of the beet flavor, but you want the beet coloring. So that's primarily what you're going to be using. We'll also be putting in some turmeric, just a little bit of turmeric to offset the color. We're putting in some miso, putting in some nori. Nori is going to give it that nice little, I don't know what you call it, fishy taste, the seaweed. So you're going to get a little bit of a fishy taste from it, which is going to make it that much special. A little bit of spiced rice vinegar and some liquid smoke. So as I said, we've got some nori, which we've got a slice of that, and that's what we're going to be using for, and some garlic. So we're going to be putting in about 2 cloves of garlic, a couple of tablespoons of the white miso, some liquid smoke, quarter teaspoon of liquid salt, liquid smoke, 3 tablespoons of the rice vinegar, small beet, 1 sheet of the nori. This is a half teaspoon of salt, some little pinch of turmeric to offset the color. And let's see, we'll get into the other stuff for later. And this is from one of those Nora Cook's recipes. I've taken that, I've made one up before, and it's turned out quite well, except I didn't use the extra firm tofu. So today we'll be using the extra firm tofu. Now that's for the actual cooking up for marinating the tofu. And then we'll also be making a lemon dill sauce, which is using some fresh dill. I find that so much better than using the ground dill. A little bit of that, some garlic powder, some salt. Will be used. Oh, sorry. Also in the marinade, there'll be a cup of, I think it's a cup of vegetable broth, and also back into the lemon dill sauce. There'll be let's see what I got in there. We got some salt, we got some black pepper, we got some garlic powder, and a little bit of lemon zest if you have it, and some vegan mayo. Now, if you remember one of my earlier episodes, episode 2 or episode 3, I made my vegan mayo. That worked perfectly. So I have already pre-made that up as well. So you can see that I've done that. I had lots left over from the last batch that I made. So I thought, why make it again? It's a real simple matter of just putting all those ingredients together, chopping up the dill as fine as you can, just mix it together and just put it on top of the cooked steaks, the cooked salmon steaks after you've cooked them. All right. That's what we're going to be doing. Now, I want to show you the first trick I want to spend some time on after I clean up this mess and get some stuff out of the way is to show you how to prepare the salmon steaks before you cook them. Or before you marinate them. And I want to show you that back in a minute. I've cleaned up the mess I made, putting everything more or less away, and I'm ready to prepare the tofu, making it into that salmon steak that I talked about. Now, what I found, what we do is we want to make some diagonal cuts all the way through the tofu itself to make it look like it's like that, give it that kind of texture and look, and also make it a little bit flaky after it's cooked. Of the like a regular salmon steak. So we're going to be doing some thin slices into this, but I don't want to slice all the way through. We need the backbone, as it were, to hold it all together. So what I did is I just took a couple of wooden skewers, put one on either side. And what I'm going to do is take my knife and just do a little slice down, and every, eighth of an inch, or I don't know how many millimeters that is, but we're just going to do some slicing on that. And just doing that on that angle. Camera angle is not the right one for this, but sorry about that. And what we want this also for 2 reasons. We want to be able to get the marinade into as deep down as possible. We don't want to slice through though, because then that'll ruin the shape of the steak. So we're just going to do some little diagonal slices through that. And that's going to let the marinade seep into it and get the flavor all the way through it. The combination of the miso and the nori that's going to be ground, that you grind up when you make the marinade, is all going to come through. So there we go, nicely sliced. You can see that it's got a little bit of a, hopefully you can see that, not too there, but we've got it sliced through. So I'm going to be putting that into whatever tray we're going to be using to marinate it, and I'll be doing the other 4 up, and back in a minute. Or the other 3, so I have all 4 done. Back in a minute. I have sliced up each one of those, or put those score marks into each one of those little salmon steaks, and I'm going to be now putting the marinade, which I will have processed and make that, just mix it all together, blended it all up. So I've got that beet juice with the miso, with the nori in there, and a little turmeric, and the garlic, and all the other stuff. I'm just going to pour that over top of that. The original recipe just calls for a pinch of turmeric. I put in more than a pinch. I put in about a couple of teaspoons. And the reason why I put in more is I wanted to offset the color of the beets. The beets were really red, and I found it was just a little too red. So I wanted to lighten it up a little bit, get it a little more orangier. And when we cook it, we're also going to make it a little more orangier by coating each of the steaks with a little bit of cornstarch before we fry them up. And to give it, that'll also lighten the color up a little bit, but I wanted to do it that way. Now, I've put them into these steaks. I've already put the marinade in there. So you can see I've done that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm also going to turn those over. And so we're going to turn them a few times, but I wanted to show you what's happening. So I don't know if you can see that, but you can see those nice little lines, but I want to just turn it over and open it up a little bit, lift up the ends a little bit. That gets a little bit more of that gets some of that marinade inside. And we're going to just do that a little bit and then flip them back over. And then let that sit in the fridge for a while. I'm going to coat these things up a little bit on the top. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to, I'll be turning them around a little bit every once in a while. This is going to marinate for 6 hours. Now, before we cook them, what I want to do is I want to make sure I get a little bit of cornstarch coating on each of the steaks on all sides, well, at least 4 of the 6 sides, and see if we can get them so that that'll help them brown a little bit when they're in the frying pan. So we're going to get a little bit of that in there. Okay, well, as you can see that I've coated each of the salmon steaks. I did break one. You have to be delicate, and I wasn't as delicate as I needed to be, wasn't as careful. So I'm just going to pick them up. I've got the oil heated up, and just going to put that in right now. Now I'm going to try to make sure that I get these things rotated, get them a little bit of browning on each side. So I will be doing that, rotating them over, being careful not to break them too much, not to break them at all, hopefully. And then I will, when I get that all fried up and ready, I will bring it back to the table or to the counter, and we'll be able to do a taste test. Back in a few. Well, the frying didn't go too bad. That took the best one out of the frying pan, just so you know. Now, what I'm going to show you is what I was doing with the nori. Is that you just take this steak and you put it on top of the nori, and that's kind of the way you're going to serve it. Just so it looks like it has a little bit of skin to it and gives a little bit of a interesting additional flavor to it. And we're going to also put on some of that lemon dill sauce, which we made with mayonnaise, a little bit of lemon juice, some lemon zest, some dill, garlic powder, and that's about a little bit of salt, I think. That was about it. Just going to put a little of that on there. And we're going to see how this goes. Now, normally you'd serve this on something like a bed of quinoa or rice, and just going to see how that goes, just like this. Now, notice that's got a nice, firm texture, so much nicer than the one with the not firm. So it's got a nice texture. Hopefully it looks okay. Let's see how this tastes. Oh, nice and chewy. Very tasty indeed. I put a little bit of nori inside as well. I like to get more of that nori flavor in there, but it's good. Probably need a knife to cut that. Here, oops. Got a little bit of the nori in with the steak itself. Nice chewy texture. The lemon dill sauce, very nice, very pleasant, very enjoyable. And that's it. It takes a little bit of work. It takes a little bit of time, 6 hours of marinade. That takes a little bit of time to deal with, but just throw it in the fridge, let it marinate, do a rotation, put it in. There you have it. Vegan salmon steaks. How is that? Again, if you have any more information for me, if you want to get a hold of me, you can reach me at my email address up here, vrcompanions@gmail.com. And of course, I'd love it if you'd follow me on my YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/@the_unorthodox_vegan/. That's it for now. Until next time, my name is Sean Gold. Have yourself a great day.